less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe.
Now. It's 7 a.m. It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bob.
Welcome back to the opening drive on this beautiful Tuesday morning. I am Zay Johnson. Bob Walpo is in producing. Thank you to Adrian on ProView for producing as well on Channel 26, ProView Network. Very excited to be here. It's my second day. One thing about me is I believe I will get better at this every single day I do it, and I hope that reflects on the listeners. We had some great conversations yesterday. I got the text line going, got some people riled up when we talked about the NBA, if I think it's declining, what reasons we think it's declining for. We're going to hop back into that for sure today, and I want you guys to hit the phone lines at 505-246-0610. But we had another quote-unquote interesting football game last night that looked a lot similar to the football games we just saw out of the college football playoff last weekend. The Packers just put a beating on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have been such a disappointing team. If you just look at how they started versus how they've continued through the rest of the season. They beat the Cowboys. It's everybody's Super Bowl. They beat the Cowboys and completely fell off a cliff from that point on. Spencer Rattler, 15 for 30, 153 yards I'm seeing here. 1 interception. And he led the team in rushing with 28 yards. The New Orleans Saints leading rusher was Spencer Rattler with 28 yards. Just not a good performance. I know Green Bay is a good team. They have a good defense, but it's not that good, okay? It's not that good. Jordan Love, 16 for 28, 182 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't have to do much because the run game just took over. And I'm very, very happy that is the fashion the Packers won in, because yesterday when I was brainstorming some more controversial or some more debatable topics that I could bring up, I wanted to bring up that I think the NFL, the play style is starting to switch a little bit. I think, despite the rules helping receivers, despite the rules helping out the quarterbacks, I think we're starting to see a shift back towards running backs, back towards the run game. I think the league they've gone through the phase of pass, and it wasn't super successful. Even the Chiefs with Mahomes, he needed Pacheco. Like, he needed a run game. So it just became evident that teams need run games nowadays. And we saw with free agency last year, you had Josh Jacobs, you had Derrick Henry, and you had Saquon Barkley. And you had Austin Eckler as well. He was also a free agent, but he's not having the best season. But those top three running backs were three of the most sought after guys. And the biggest conversation is, do we still break the bank for a running back? And if you look at the teams that have Josh Jacobs, that have Derrick Henry, that have Saquon Barkley, they are all successful. They're all Super Bowl contenders. Like, they're all teams that you would not want to see by any means in the playoffs. And I don't know if it's a shocker that they have the top three running backs that were in free agency. I feel like it's something that is starting to translate. And I want to spark that conversation. When you look at the Packers, Reed, 4 targets, 3 catches, 76 yards, no touchdowns. Kraft, 3 catches, 63 yards, no touchdowns. Jacobs got his hands on the ball in the receiving game a little bit. He had 4 catches on 4 targets, 38. So, it was evenly spread out. But Josh Jacobs, Wilson, and Watson, actually it was Brooks, they all get touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. The Packers win 34-0. Now, why do I think why would teams start leading towards the run game? What are the benefits of running the football? I played offensive line in high school, but when I got to college, being 6'4", 240, you can get away with that in high school. Like, in high school, if you've been in the weight room, if you're a muscular 230, 240 pounds, you can get away with playing tackle. But at the college level, if you're trying to do what I was trying to do, and I was trying to make money playing football, you're not going to get away with playing offensive line in college at any level, anything less than 250 pounds. It's going to be really, really, really difficult to pull that off. But what I remember from high school is that the reason our team was so good is because we ran the ball. Now, we had offensive weapons, but we ran the football. We ran first, and even our quarterback was using the run game. And what happens when you can run the football is not only do you keep the ball out of the other offense's hands, but you wear down a defense. You wear down the other team's defense. You chew up clock, so that prevents them from being on the field to score touchdowns. It's demoralizing because when a team passes a lot, even if it's the greatest quarterback of all time, there's chances for tip balls, interceptions. There's chances for, big hits. They could drop the ball incomplete and they could stop the clock. There's a lot of benefits. Or at least there's higher risk, higher reward when you're a pass-heavy team. But when you have a running game and a running back that is dominant, I mean, it makes life so much easier for a football team. And I think this last season, this current season, we're seeing it. I mean, you just look at the numbers. Right now, Saquon and Derrick Henry are both above last year's total rushing leader. Christian McCaffrey last year had a little over 1,400 yards, and he led the NFL. This year, Saquon's at 1,800. Derrick Henry's at 1,600. Last year, McCaffrey had 14 touchdowns to end the season. This year, Derrick Henry and Saquon are both at 13 already, which means more than likely they'll finish with more than 14. And the Eagles and the Ravens are 2 of the most dominant teams in the NFL right now, especially when that run game's going. So moving forward, especially in the NFL draft, because you got guys like Ashton Genty that are sitting there, and some people think he could go top 10. Some people think he could go top 15. But just imagine, what other position could be as dominant as Ashton Genty has been in college this recent season, putting up the numbers he's put up, breaking the records that he's broke at his school. He might break the all-time college football rushing record. And we're talking about this guy still falling in the middle of the first round. It's because the running back position is just so devalued. And I understand it may not always be entertaining watching somebody chew up the clock. And I understand. And I'm not saying that you should only have just some big back the whole time to wear down a defense, but look at guys like Saquon. I mean, that Eagles-Commanders game, Jalen Hurts goes down, and yes, that's when the Commanders make their comeback. But when they were up 14-0 with Jalen Hurts, it wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. Saquon had 2 touchdowns, and one was for like 70-plus yards. He's got an absurd amount of 10-plus yard runs without being touched. I mean, look at the Eagles last year. Yeah, they were a great football team, but they fell off in the second half. You want to know why the Eagles are not going to fall off this season? Because guess what? Jalen Hurts is he's making bad decisions. You know, he's got turnover issues. Jalen Hurts starts turning the ball over. Devontae Smith is having an off game. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts aren't getting along. Look, just give it to Saquon, and any play he could bust it for 60 yards. Same with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson can rush on his own, but Lamar Jackson, he had a game earlier this season where he threw well over 300 yards, 3+ touchdown passes, and had less than 5 yards rushing. Lamar Jackson had less than 10 yards rushing and well over 300 yards passing because Derrick Henry's in the backfield. So I think that moving forward, it would not only be better for the safety of quarterbacks, it would be better for the style of football that running backs make a comeback. I never liked the idea of not running the football. Phone lines 505-246-0610. You let me know your thoughts if you think that teams, you know, if it's a good idea. Like, is it a good idea to just, you know, we don't have to worry about a running back. You can have a decent run game, load up on the receivers, get a strong defense, and try to make it happen? Or do you think we need to go back to, I guess you could even say early 2000s? It hasn't been a very long time since, you know, passing became super heavy. I started watching NFL, I told you guys yesterday, in like 2006, 2007. So any listeners that, you know, you remember better than I do the style of football beforehand, I mean, you let me know what you think. What's more entertaining? What seems better quality of football? Because to my knowledge, the NFL is not falling off in viewerships. I know the streaming services, none of that helps, of course. I mean, I think we all can agree that, yeah, it can be convenient, but it's kind of a pain. It's a pain. Like right now when I go home, I don't have a lot of streaming services. But even if I wanted to spend money to watch the game, I don't even always know how to watch it. And this is, I guess, if you're Goodell, or say for the NBA, you're Adam Silver, you're like, sorry, sucks to suck. They paid us a lot more money than those television companies would have paid us for the games. So I think the NFL and the NBA, they get their money for it, and they're like, all right, you guys figure it out. You guys can figure it out. And that could very well be a possibility. Because I don't know if they're going to change anytime soon. But I do got the official numbers of the running backs, and we're going to continue this conversation after the break. Opening drive, we got Bob Walpole producing. I'm Zay Johnson. We got a very, very full show for you today, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for this. Right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Zay Johnson, Bob Walpo in producing. Talking some running backs, and do we think the NFL should switch back to the old-fashioned running the ball method, is that the way to go? Is that the same thing as saying defense wins championships? Look, one of the main things I used to always hear growing up playing, and I hear it from NFL coaches, the best defense is run game. So yes, you need a good defense, but your run game can also be defense. Your offense can also translate to good defense. Why? Say you're going against a team and you know that not only do they have offensive receiver weapons, but they can inch down the field and take 7 minutes off the clock if they please. When you now get out on the field, not only as an offense is your chemistry off, but you feel a sense of urgency. You feel like someone just took forever to get out of the grocery store and you're waiting in the car. You're waiting in the car. Hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And they're taking 20 minutes and you're sitting there like, ugh. And then they finally get in their car. And now you're in a rush to get to your next destination because you feel like you're behind schedule. That is what going against a team with a solid running game can do to an offense. So there is a lot more benefits to running the football than some of you guys may understand. Saquon Barkley has 1,838 yards, 314 attempts, 13 touchdowns, and he's got 15 runs over 20 yards. Derrick Henry, 1,636 yards, 278 attempts, still has 13 touchdowns, and he also has 15 rushes over 20 yards. Both of those guys they're not carrying Saquon's carrying the Eagles. Saquon's carrying the Eagles. I can't say Derrick Henry's carrying the Ravens because I got to give some respect to Lamar Jackson. But then you even look at Josh Jacobs. He's now 4th in rushing. So the 3 of the top 5 running backs in the NFL this year are not only playoff teams, but they're teams that can go on a run. Now, to put that in perspective, let's do this. Let's look at the top 5 passers this year. Joe Burrow is leading the league in passing by a decent margin, okay? They're not going to the playoffs. He's having an MVP-esque season, and the Bengals are not going to the playoffs. Who else is in the top 5? Geno Smith. Okay, the Seahawks, they're a good team, but they're overachieving. They're surprising us. That's why them being, I believe, 8-7, they still feel like, they're a solid team. By any means, don't get me wrong. But Geno Smith also uses his legs. He's not just a pocket passer. Okay, you got Baker Mayfield. He's in the top 5. He just lost to Dallas. The Buccaneers, they got a decent running back. They don't use him enough, but Bucky Irving's a great player. I wanted Dallas to pick up Bucky Irving. And then here's a fun fact, right? Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff are both in the top 5. And you're going to say, oh, Isaiah, but what about Jared Goff and Lamar? They're in the top 5 for passing. But yeah, guess what? You know what helps out a quarterback? A good run game. Like, those teams have great run games. So it also will translate to your quarterback having his greatest season. You know, I have to bring it back to the Cowboys. Look at Tony Romo in 2014. His whole career, turnover machine, couldn't win. You know, it was hard to trust him. His decision-making was off. They get DeMarco Murray, who ran for 1,800 yards that season. And Tony Romo has his best season of his career. 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, I believe. And the only reason he didn't win MVP is because Aaron Rodgers threw for about 40-plus touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So without Aaron Rodgers, we would have seen Tony Romo win MVP, which would have been something none of us had on our bingo boards. And then you translate over to when the Cowboys draft Zeke. Look at the difference that made on that football team. It's the proof's in the pudding. So speaking of Lamar, finally got his win over Mike Tomlin. I was hoping he could get over that hump because Mike Tomlin's not going anywhere. If there was ever a chance Mike Tomlin was going to go anywhere, it would have been if this season went bad. You know, as crazy as it sounds, there was some Mike Tomlin on the hot seat news headlines coming across the screen, even though the guy has never had a below 500 season ever in his career, which is just crazy to think about. And it's not like he's had stacked rosters. Mike Tomlin has got it out the mud, so to speak. Pulling the best out of players. He's done it. I think what we saw in Bill Belichick, what we thought Bill Belichick was, not thought, I think he still could be that, but we saw when Brady left, it was a lot harder than we thought it was. What we thought Belichick was when we talk about a coach that can take any roster and get the best out of his players. He could take any roster and find out a way to win games. I don't think Tomlin gets enough credit. You know, sometimes I wonder if the front office for the Steelers has somehow flipped that into a negative when you look at the outcome for the Steelers. They don't have a lot of stars usually. Since the Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger days, TJ Watt's been the only true star I can think of for the Steelers. Obviously, just not counting Antonio Brown because other reasons. But the Steelers are not star-studded, and they always find a way to win games. And Mike Tomlin will be the first guy to give Lamar his props. And it's a lot easier when you have his number. But Lamar finally gets his victory over the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, and the Ravens clinch a playoff spot. And with this game, the Steelers could have clinched the division. So this is... you know, they're not happy about falling to Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, in this game. But what I want to ask is, if I had to decide a team I had to face in the playoffs, I'm picking Pittsburgh. I don't want to play the Ravens. But can any of these teams, can either of them, I should say, beat Buffalo or Kansas City? I don't know. See, Kansas City, it's weird. I feel like the only team that can beat the Chiefs are the Bills. So if the Chiefs come across the Ravens, the Chiefs seem to have they have a system, a whirlwind. And when they bring another team into their whirlwind, into their system, and they mix them up and throw them around, they come out with a victory. It's like no matter what a team's play style is, you come in to play the Chiefs and they force you to play their style of football. And they play their style of football better than anybody else. But similar to like a superhero movie, for instance, Josh Allen's got the medicine. He's got the antidote. I think Josh Allen's got the Kansas City Chiefs antidote. He's got the spell that can break the Chiefs' black magic. Because if it's not Josh Allen, I don't know if anybody can go and just, even mentally, the Chiefs have a mental edge on fans. They have a mental edge on everybody in America right now. And we're going to be honest. The Chiefs have a similar hold on America than the Golden State Warriors had in the middle of their dynasty. Okay, because they win the close games every single time. Every single time the game is close, every time it's a clutch situation, they just find out a way to win. They just figure it out to the point where when they need a blocked kick, they block the kick. But the only time I haven't seen the magic work was against Josh Allen and the Bills. So how I see it playing out is, I'm not exactly sure how the seeding will end up. But if the Bills can avoid, if the Ravens can avoid the Chiefs, then they have a shot. They can win the Super Bowl. If the Ravens can avoid the Chiefs, if somehow the Chiefs get unlucky and they get knocked out, I think the Ravens can win the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens can beat the Bills, but I don't think the Ravens can beat the Chiefs. I think the Bills can beat everybody in the division. There's nobody that I feel confident saying is going to go in and beat Buffalo, because they don't have black magic, but they have superpowers over there in Buffalo. And how impressive is it to be a Buffalo Bills team that continues to score 30, 40 game after game after game, and they play in Buffalo? It's not like it's Miami and you're just waiting for these guys to get caught out in the cold. You're like, okay, once it hits the cold weather, they're going to start falling off the cliff. No. They play in Buffalo. So it's almost like teams are going to Buffalo and they have to play different because it's cold. But Buffalo's like, we're going to play like it's 70 degrees out here. Throwing deep balls, amazing catches. And if it's colder, all that means is it's like pick your poison. Okay, now Josh Allen's going to run, and he's a running back once he passes the line of scrimmage. At that moment, he's a running back. So, I don't know. But what I do know is, speaking of NBA, there's some real interesting stuff that happened last night. There was some chippiness, some fights going on. And I want to talk about, could we possibly be looking at the best rim protector ever? Could we be currently watching the best shot blocker in NBA history grow right before our eyes? We're going to get into that right after the break. This is the Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. I'm Zay Johnson, Bob Walpole producing, Adrian back there at ProView, right here on the Sports Animal.
For more than...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
We got some interesting games this week coming on the opening drive. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, we got Chiefs at Steelers. Chiefs are not happy about all these football games, by the way. The Chiefs are not happy at all. They're actually, I'm sure after this season, with the power they have and the pull they have, they're going to find a way to do something about them playing. I think it's 3 games in 10 days. Oh, gosh. I can only imagine. You got that on top of adding an extra game to the season. The Chiefs are upset, and Mahomes is not healthy, at least as healthy as he could be, so even worse. But we got Chiefs at Steelers tomorrow at 10:30 right here on KNML. And then after that, we've got Ravens at Texans at 2:15. So we got Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans, and those actually should both be some good games. Chiefs at Steelers would be a really good game. And Ravens at Texans also has the content to be a great game. The Ravens have everything to put on a great show. The Texans, they are missing Tank Dell, but that's still an entertaining football team. So how lucky I am to work for such a privileged station that gets to have these awesome games on Christmas. Home of the NFL right here on the Sports Animal. The NBA's, they're taking a weird turn, in my opinion, right? The game's been changing. And last night, Victor Wembanyama put on another masterclass when it comes to protecting the rim. The Spurs did lose 116-106 to the Sixers. But Victor Wembanyama had 6 blocks in the first half, and he finished with 8. 8 blocks. Now, keep in mind, the Spurs' last game just a couple days ago, he had 10 blocks. 10 of them. This is scary. All right, he's in his second year. He is going to be, now, we all worried about his health, right, when he came into the league. He's been pretty healthy, if you ask me. He's been holding up real well. Does he get banged around sometimes by the bigger guys? Yes. Did we expect that to happen? Yes. But did we expect him to be as durable as he's been? No. Now, of course, you're not wishing bad on anybody, but you looked at him and it's like, okay, this guy, it looks like Joel Embiid or Giannis is going to break this guy. And that didn't happen. Well, actually, Embiid put 70 on him when they first played, but I don't think it wasn't a violent 70, but Embiid definitely schooled him their first meeting. But Wembanyama is just on a tear right now. And there's some things I wanted to talk about when you're looking at the all-time block leaders ever. You got Hakeem Olajuwon, Mutombo, Kareem, Mark Eaton, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, Tree Rollins, and Robert Parrish. Okay? So those are your top 10 leaders in total blocks ever. But here's when it gets interesting. Blocks per game, right? If we're going to be fair, I think we should look at blocks per game because some people play longer than others. So when you look at the top 10 and blocks per game, it goes Mark Eaton, Manute Bol, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Elmore Smith. That's the top 5. And then from 6 to 10, it goes Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Kareem again, Sean Bradley, George Johnson. So clearly there's a difference between total blocks and leading in blocks per game when you're looking at the top 10. Mark Eaton at the most blocks per game for his career in NBA history is 3.5. 3.5 blocks. Fun fact. Currently, Victor Wembanyama is averaging 3.6 blocks per game for his career. And this season, he's at 3.8. So naturally, he's going to maintain this. If he's at 3.6, 3.8 in his rookie year, when he's as weak as he's ever going to be, he's as inexperienced as he's ever going to be, he's only going to get better. So what we're looking at right now is we're looking at a guy who's on pace to be the best shot blocker in NBA history. And just look at the guy. It's no fluke. What, 7'6"? Wingspan is absurd. And he's not. Back in the day, when somebody was 7'5", 7'6", they usually had some weight to go with them. 250, maybe 280, unless you're Shaq and you're in the 300s. Who, by the way, Shaq is not on. I don't think he's in that top. Yeah, okay, he's 15. Shaq's 15. He averages 2.26. And then Anthony Davis is 14 with 2.3. And Anthony Davis, remember him in college when he was blocking shots all over the place? We thought this is the guy we're talking about defensive player of the year. I mean, Victor, when it's all said and done, he's going to win it this year. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. You don't average over 3.5 blocks and not win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this is a guy that could block a 3-point shot from the free throw line. Literally. Standing at the free throw line, he could block a 3-point shot. And if he has a running start, he could probably leave the paint and still make up ground to block a 3-point shot. And he's only going to get more athletic. Now, here's what I want to get into. Andre Drummond was thrown out of the game and then brought back out of the locker room. So Andre Drummond and Victor Wembanyama, they're getting a little chippy, and Victor's not getting chippy. It's Andre Drummond that's going to be getting chippy, okay? He's in Victor's face. He's saying, you're soft, you're soft, you're soft. Victor had 6 blocks at the time. 6 blocks in 2 quarters, and the guy's in your face calling you soft. So, of course, Victor seems unfazed. And then right before the inbound, Andre Drummond gives him a shoulder to the chest and knocks him down, and he's immediately tossed out the game. The referee, who is the speculation is, all the female refs, don't do that, okay? Don't blame it on her being female. But they're saying that she was quick triggered in throwing him out the game. But how about this? She goes over to the Sixers bench. She goes over to the scores table, and she says, look, and I quote, I effed up. I shouldn't have thrown him out of the game. He's coming back. So Andre Drummond then returns back to the game. But then later on in that game, Joel Embiid gets an offensive foul on Victor Wembanyama. And he disagrees. He gets in the female ref's face. But Joel Embiid was a lot more animated than Andre Drummond was. Andre Drummond was tossed out just for pushing Victor. Embiid he's causing some outrage because people are saying, oh, he was thrown out too early. He was thrown. Even if he was, okay, when you watch the replay, when you watch the video of Embiid being ejected from the game and you see his reaction, he gets far, far too animated. And I know I understand we're all about equality, okay? And everyone is equal. And you don't want to look down on anybody or assume like, oh, like it's a girl, I have to be nice. But Embiid, this is not, you can't walk up to her and be just peering down over her, screaming in her face, saying, yeah, and like bucking at her. And you can't do that. You're asking to get thrown out. Because at this point, it's not about respect anymore. It's about natural human instincts. Okay, if you're a male referee and Embiid's all peering over your face, I'm sure the mental process of seeing somebody, you might still throw them out of the game, but you might not actually fear and be scared. I believe she was actually scared. I think he did enough. He was animated enough to actually scare her, and rightfully so. Okay, I'm a big guy. I don't want Embiid getting angry at me and in my face like that either. I don't want anything to do with that. Embiid is much bigger than any offensive lineman I ever had to deal with. Matter of fact, he would be the biggest offensive lineman in the NFL if he played. So Embiid is a huge guy. So even if you disagree with the call, I mean, you can't go hop in her face and scream and egg her on. And then after she tosses him, he gets even more animated and his teammates have to hold him back. Bro, you should never have to be held back from a woman, especially if you're Joel Embiid and you're disagreeing with a ref. It is a bad, bad look. Embiid was 2 for 8, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. +1.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that to any ref.
Exactly.
Regardless of gender.
Exactly.
And if you do, I would support a rule change that you're automatically ejected from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it a second time, you're ejected for the rest of the season.
Oh,
I'm rough. No, you shouldn't be doing it to any ref. They're there for a reason. You disagree with the call, you can take it up the ladder, not in his face or her face.
2 ejections out for the season.
Yeah. Let's see if that gets some commentary.
Yeah, it'll get some comment. I tell you what, it will stop all the issues.
Oh, okay. Maybe third time.
Okay.
Maybe third time.
3 ejections, yeah, I like it. They have their rule for technicals.
Yeah.
So like if you get a technical, which I guess like if whatever you could 2 technicals, you're ejected.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have like a long-term thing. And Dwight Howard, surprisingly, Dwight Howard used to be one of the most bubbly guys in the NBA. He was always smiling and happy when the camera was on him. But he used to get a lot of technicals. Him and DeMarcus Cousins. But DeMarcus Cousins was not as bubbly as Dwight. But, it became a point where it was like, halfway through the season, they're like, okay, these guys have got 15 technicals. If he gets one more technical, he's suspended for 5 games or something. Or he's suspended for a game, something like that. And they'd go out and get the technical anyways. And it's like, dude, I know
he doesn't care. He's still getting paid.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's see. Third time you do this to a ref, you're ejected for the rest of the season and you forfeit all the money. Am I getting rough enough?
Bob Walpo for GM. I like it. All right. Coming after the break, we got some more NBA talk right here on the opening drive. I'm Zay Johnson. He's Bob Walpo, the hardball player. Adrian producing over on for ProView. Thank you to Adrian right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. all of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Jose, I don't want to seem too harsh on what I said. You can still object to a call, but if you get so animated that your teammates have to hold you back, then you're becoming threatening.
Yeah.
So, there is a line.
100%.
So,
and when you look at a lot of guys getting ejected, I mean, you do see guys have to be held back. And and honestly, I would say
you get emotional.
Yeah, and maybe like once, I don't want to say once a week, but I mean, like, it's pretty often you see a guy and like the teammates are quickly having to tell him, like, and the guy walks off saying things. And usually in that little moment, that's when the ref's like, what was that? What was that?
Yeah.
Tossed you out. But
go talk to the coach and say, hey, better.
Yes. And I don't think that now the rules should be the same, regardless of the gender of the ref, for sure.
Yeah.
But for me,
I mean, I've seen, male refs, the guy's just towering over them.
Yeah.
And very threatening.
Oh, yeah. And it gets worse that way. Yeah. That's usually when it happens. But I feel like if you see it's a female ref, it's like, although you're an NBA player and you're emotional, like the man inside of you should be like, okay, there's only a certain level of irritation that I'm going to go here. Like in like whatever you have to say, turn around and say it. But you shouldn't have guys, because if someone's having to hold you back, they're saying, I don't want you to do anything worse. So if you're trying to advance toward her, what were you going to do anyway? If there's no one's there to hold you back, where was that going to go?
Yeah.
And then you're going into a whole different territory of danger.
Yeah. Called criminal assault.
Yeah. Yes. It could be domestic as well. Yeah. And I had 2 older sisters growing up. So I was a baby. And, you get beat on when you're the younger brother.
Yeah, I guess.
So then not beat on, but wrestled with picked on and pushed you and stuff
and framed for things that they did.
Oh gosh, that could go on and on and on. But with me being the youngest, as I started to get older, of course, I started getting a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah.
And as I got bigger, they got more intense with it because they're like, oh, he's getting bigger, and they can mess with me more.
Yeah.
And there was one day my dad was at work and both my parents were gone, and it was me and my 2 oldest sisters, and we got into a little skirmish, whatever. And my oldest sister thought it was funny, right? So she's like hyping us up. And I remember I was 5 years old and my older sister was 8, and I hit her because she hit me and I hit her back. And I remember she hit me. I went and looked in the mirror and I saw my eye had a red dot on it. And I got so mad, tears coming out. I came out there and I hit her, and she ran straight to the phone and told my dad.
Yeah.
And he got on me so bad. He says, wait till I get home. I'm like, Dad, but she hit me. I don't care. I don't care. He did not care one bit. And it was the worst punishment I ever got. And from that day on, it was just programmed in my brain. It doesn't matter, even if it is my sister. That's my sister. It doesn't matter. You don't do that to girls, period. So from that point on, there is no having to be held back from a female. It's just, what are you going to do when you get there? I understand being upset, but what are you going to do? Bad luck for Embiid. But we got to wrap up the first hour right here on the opening drive. Bob Walpo producing 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
With 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
How about it? How about it? That was head coach the Lobos, Jason Eck. He's letting us know, hey, he's doing the dirty work. He's getting things done. While we're opening gifts, he's giving us gifts. We just don't know who they are yet. But we will soon. He didn't say just players. He said they're going to be difference makers. So moving forward with Jason Eck, that is one of the most important things, you know, when you're talking about a new college coach. I'd say the top 2 things is Lobo fans, right? The top 2 things you're thinking about when you get a new college coach is how is his culture and how is he with recruiting. You want to have a good culture, and you wouldn't have good recruiting skills. If you can do those two things, especially with the transfer portal, that was a big, important thing 8 years ago. But now with this transfer portal, and you got all these different players, and it's never going to be the same team. Your team leader could leave. That's a culture hit. You have to be a coach that knows how to put a culture in place. And Jason Eck, that is, I believe, from what we've seen so far, he does have that ability. The school he left, Idaho, they've had nothing bad to say about him. I'm looking at the comments and nothing but good things to say about Coach Eck. So I think the Lobos did get them one, and I like that he's also making that extra effort. Now, I'm not going to get on here and be one of those guys to throw shots at Mendenhall. And number one, I feel a little unqualified. I feel like that's more Jeff and JJ's realm, or Fred and Van in the afternoon, or even you as Lobo fans. But when it comes to college football, for me, it feels a little weird. Number one, I'm 2 years out of playing. So I'm still wired like a player a little bit. So I always look out for the players, but I also look out for the coaches, because some coaches have changed my life for the positive. So I am on everyone's side when it comes to that. And I just want everyone to be happy. In this situation, I think the Lobos are in good position. He says he's gotten guys coming out here, and to have guys, right before Christmas come out here, take a look, then get back home, discuss things with their family. I think it's a great time to be getting some recruiting done, especially because a lot of guys are hitting the portal right now. So we'll see what Coach Eck can put together. And also a little side note, also involving the Lobos, we got an event today that happened in 2002. Actually, it was on Christmas event. 2002, the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. New Mexico's Katie Nida became the first woman to play in NCAA Division I game. So speaking of the female refs, the first female to play in an NCAA Division I game, but her extra point attempt was actually blocked by UCLA. But she did get her first point in an NCAA Division I game in a 72-8 rout of Texas State in 2003. The Lobos beat Texas State 72-8. I need to see who was on that Lobo roster. It might have been Urlacher, huh? I think Urlacher may have been on that team. We got Rudy on the line joining us here on the opening drive. How you feeling, Rudy? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I'm doing great. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yes, sir.
And what Coach Eck reminds me of, Isaiah, is that uncle that shows up at your door when things are going bad, and he hugs you and he goes, "It'll be all right."
I love it.
It'll be all right. And not only does he bring good gifts, but he hangs out and he makes you feel really good.
Bring some cookies.
I found out that Richard Pierce decided to stay. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So did Malik. I believe he was our starting center by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So you've got two big pieces there on the offensive line. When you got a starting center and a starting guard that was all Mountain West, I think, you can build on that. And I'm hearing Tavian Combs is going to come back.
Really?
That would be huge.
That'd be a great deal, huh? And, that's...
The guy,
yeah?
If he's ever healthy, is there a better safety that you've ever seen than Tavian Combs in college?
I don't know. He's a dog. He's a dog for sure, and he makes plays.
So it's shaping up, and what I really like about Eck is his coordinators that he brought in. Coach Slice, that's our offensive coordinator, because nobody can pronounce his last name. And Danny Jackson, I believe is that his name, the DC. Met all those guys, and then Lonnie Fangupo. Lonnie Fangupo. That's our defensive line coach. Played for USC, BYU, and I believe 6-7 years in the NFL.
Oh.
And dude's from Tonga, and he's going to get that D-line going, man. If I was a D-lineman, that's the guy I'd want to play for.
Hey, nothing's better, especially for D linemen. It's really important to like your coach, because when the D line, there's so much like gray area, and there's so many extra things you can wonder, can I do this? Can I do that? But you have some coaches that just simplify the position for you, and it just makes life a lot easier. So hopefully that does translate and help out the D line.
Yeah, and from what I understand, he's just a superb recruiter. All these guys are. They're young, they're talented. Met the strength coach, told him about the puker, so he's going to reinstitute that.
What's the puker? Teach me. I'm learning here.
The sand hills. When they run the sand hills, that's what Coach Paulson nicknamed it, the puker.
Yep, I can imagine why he would come up with that name of the puker.
But the future is bright. It's going to be a Merry Christmas for everybody. And hey, how about that Lobo basketball team? I mean, 3 huge wins in non-conference, and I really like the way the team's gelling. And the 1000th game in the pit is going to be against Steve Alford. Imagine that on January 3rd.
It's going to be packed in the pit. And the Lobo basketball team, it's really nice to see a team and a coach in Patino that responds the way they did to the state loss. They always say it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get up. And they bounced back marvelously after that game.
Well, I've had the saying for years, and good teams don't lose 2 games in a row. And this Lobo team has not lost 2 games in a row. When they lose, they learn from it. They vow to do better, and they always do. So, hey, everybody, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you pretty quick here in the pit.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the call, Rudy. Awesome call. Jason Eck looking like a positive and a great addition to the Lobo football program and the Lobo basketball team as well. They're resting right now. Donovan Dent's resting right now. He needs it. And I tell you what, I also have in my notes, congratulations to Donovan Dent for winning the Mountain West Player of the Week. So very well deserved. 40 points against a ranked team. Donovan Dent put on a master class, especially in the second half. Just took over the basketball game, left no doubt, and he stayed consistent. And, I hate to compare sports to sports, but remember the Broncos, their last game against the Chargers last Thursday, when they came out and they're running the football and everything's looking great, and they go into the halftime with a great lead, and they come out in the second half and they don't run the football. When you see something's working, it seems very easy to just do this, keep doing what's working. But you got a lot of coaches. I don't know if it's a coach thing, if it's a pride thing, but you start getting in your own mind and you're like, oh, I'm going to show them I can do everything. I'm like, no, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
What did I tell you yesterday off air about the Broncos? You remember? They, being born and raised in Denver, of course, a Bronco fan.
Yes.
Was, for the longest time, it was always, oh, they do real good, and then they'll blow it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said to you.
I remember it.
So, they didn't come out in the second half.
Yeah, and they didn't come out in the second half, and they did blow it. And I know my co-host for Tailgate Talk on the weekends, 8 to 10 a.m., Dale Cornelius, he used to be the producer for this show, so I know we all know DC. He's a great guy. Me and DC, we're like awkwardly very, very similar. We're almost like the same person, except for we have different sports teams. But DC, he's very, very reluctant to lean into this. He's very, very paranoid about this whole thing with the Broncos. He thinks they're going to lose out. I'm like, dude, you guys might win out. You guys are a good football team. But we got to take a break. Quick break on the opening drive. I love the great conversation. I love the callers. Please keep calling in. 505-246-0610. I don't bite. And I'm very, very perspective. This is Zay Johnson, Bob Walpole producing, Adrian back at the studio for ProView producing on the TV side of things. This is the opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Hi.
Christmas Day sports. In 2016 on Christmas, the first matchup between the defending champion Cavs and the Warriors since their NBA Finals series the previous June featured more drama. The Cavaliers rallied from a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter to defeat the Warriors 109-108. Kyrie Irving hit the winner over Klay Thompson with 3.4 seconds left to spoil Kevin Durant's 36-point outing for Golden State. LeBron led the Cavs with 31 points and 13 rebounds. That was a crazy game. That was the game we were expecting, the Warriors, the new look Warriors, the KD to get their payback on LeBron for coming back 3-1, and LeBron and Kyrie won again. That was heartbreaking. But we're talking some college, and we got into this yesterday. I had CJ Christian on, and we talked some transfer portal and JUCO rules, and we got his opinions. You guys know mine. But I feel like I have to do my due diligence. I can't just speak out of my opinion. I have to continue bringing on other people who have valid opinions, not just callers who are always welcome to give their opinions, but I also like to get players who have lived through it. And who I now am bringing on is my first junior college roommate for 2 years at the College of DuPage in the suburbs of Chicago and Illinois. He then went on to transfer to Toledo, played some football there at Toledo. And then after he graduated and Highlands was looking for some linebackers, and I said, hey, you might as well just come on, get one more year and just come play some football right on down here in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And to my surprise, he took the offer and came to play at Highlands, and we were roommates again. And now Evander Kraft is back in Wisconsin, and he is now joining us on the show today. What's going on, Evander? How you feeling, bro?
Man, what a great introduction. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. I'm doing marvelous. I'm doing marvelous.
Exactly.
So there's a couple of things that happened. Number one, I know just recently, I don't think it's super private, but you did tell me that with this NIL stuff, with this not transfer portal, those are two different topics. With this NIL stuff and NCAA athletes being allowed to get paid, if you're somebody who was at a Division I, so like you were there and this stuff passed afterward, is there some way for former Division I players that played for the D1 universities that had merchandise be sold? Like, is there a way for them to actually get some sort of like reparations or back pay? I don't know. I use reparations way too loosely.
Yeah, so I know there was a law that passed where I think it was like a $2 billion like suit. So basically athletes, I believe the year to 2016 and up who played Division I football, I know mainly it's going to be for basketball and football, but you're going to be able to get compensated based on what your name and likeness could have been in that era. So basically what they'll do is like you can go on, there's a website that there is where you can go on and basically, plead your case, and you can just put basically to prove that you were an athlete, Division I athlete in your name, and they'll just basically like go off of that. And I guess you go from there. I'm still kind of new to learning about it, but I know the law passed, and I think you have until basically sometime in January to apply before the deadline hits. So I'm pretty sure every Division I athlete from that year needs to, go and apply and see how that process will work out for them.
So if there's any former Division I players listening, if you know anybody who's a former Division I player, if they were there from 2016 and on and they never got any money, I'm not exactly sure what the website is. I'm sure Google will help you out, but just go on there and see, why not try? Nowadays, there's so many things, like whether it's Cash App or like Facebook, it's like, hey, apply for this lawsuit because they're being sued for this. And if you put your name in that portal, like you just wake up one day and $200 hits your account. Now, I think this will be different than that, but and it should be more and different than that if it's $2 billion. But hopefully that works out, and you get something back. I don't know if it would be the same amount that you would want to get if we were currently playing, but it's something. I mean, something's better than nothing.
Yeah, now it's pretty crazy what they're getting. But it's basically, it said one is for the Hubbard First National College Athletic Association. Then the other settlement is for basically NIL. So there's two different settlements you could get paid for. Oh. It's not just NIL. So it's two different ones. And if you fit the criteria for both, who knows what you can get out of that. So
you might get a new car or something.
Yeah, I hope. Man.
Yeah, that'd be something different. But what's really crazy? So yes, it does suck that we didn't get paid more. But think about this: like, imagine if coming out of the College of DuPage, those years didn't count. Imagine going to a D1 looked at as somebody fresh out of high school. Me and you, when we both chose to go to the College of DuPage, neither one of us lived in that area, but we lived I think we both were maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from that location. Right. So there's always a process from when you decide to go junior college. For me, it was because I didn't take grades serious until my junior year of high school. Like my junior year of high school, I was like, all right, I guess like unless I'm a 5-star athlete, a college isn't going to take me unless my grades are right. And, one thing high schoolers forget about is that GPA starts from freshman year. So if you just bomb your first 2 years and then you decide to go hard your last 2 years, your GPA is still going to suffer a little bit. So for me, it was, okay, number one, I'm not getting any looks. And number two, my GPA is terrible coming out of high school. For you, I know your grades have always been good, but you just wanted more. You just weren't satisfied with what was on your plate. So we end up going to JUCO. Is that accurate from your end? I don't want to speak for you.
Well, actually, no. I actually did have I slipped up my freshman year of high school where I had pretty bad grades. I wouldn't say they were bad grades, but
not my kind of bad.
Into certain schools, and I didn't have the ACT score at the time as well. So both of those two things kind of put me in a bind where it's like I could have gone to a smaller school, but still I played at a small school, so it's like I wasn't going to get highly recruited, and teams are hesitant to give me out scholarships because they didn't think I would fare out academically well when I would be able to get to that Division I level of schooling, in a sense, and whatnot. So
yeah,
it was a struggle in that sense. So yeah, so I chose to go the JUCO route because I was going to make sure, like, hey, if I don't go Division I, I'm going to let it be just because I'm not good enough. I'm not going to let it be because my grades or any other, outside distractions that were able to maybe, influence that. But yeah.
Yeah. And I like, especially what you said at the end too, like that's really the biggest thing. And like, although like I said, my grades were bad, but that's pretty much what it was. It was like, I'm not going to, like, I've got my dreams of trying to get to the league. The best way to get to the league is to go to a big school. And if I can't get to that big school, it is not going to be because I messed up. It's going to be because I wasn't good enough or just something that I couldn't control happened.
Right.
So that's the mindset, at least it used to be the mindset of a lot of JUCO players. That's really what it was. It was rare that someone would go to JUCO and they knew they weren't good enough to go D1, but they were just playing for fun. Like you did have those guys. And I know on our team, we had a guy that he was like almost 30. He was in the military. He came back from the military and he's like almost 30 years old. And we're like, what in the world? Like this guy, he's not trying to go to the league. Like they're going to look at you like you're crazy. I'm not talking Highlands. We had one of those two at Highlands, but I was talking about the College of DuPage one. And, and I'm like, okay, so what's the mindset here? But that was the mindset for most people going to JUCO. But now, because of this new lawsuit that was filed by Diego Pavia, he is from Albuquerque. He's from here. So this topic is kind of hot here. And it brings the spotlight to Albuquerque for that reason. But he has now made it so I don't think, the more I've been reading, it's not that he has caused like it's not like him winning his lawsuit doesn't change it for everybody automatically. But what it does is it puts players in position where it's like, okay, if you guys don't give me my year, I've seen the pattern. I've seen what can happen. I've seen it be done already. I just saw a guy win a lawsuit. So if you guys don't change the rule, now a bunch of kids are going to start filing lawsuits and trying to get their year back. So now I'm like, how does this change the mindset of going into JUCO? Like now the guys who wanted to go there because the grades and all that will still be a thing. But now you're going to have people who got 4.0 GPAs who are good enough to go to a D1 right away, and they're going to be going to a JUCO when they could be at a D1. So I don't know. How do you think this is going to affect junior college football as a whole? Like, what's your perspective? How do you see this playing out, and do you think it's positive or negative?
So I think what's going to come out of this is, like, I don't think it's going to make, I would say, kids who have 4.0s, like, automatically make them want to go to the junior college route. I think it'll make guys who are already at the Division I level, or maybe haven't progressed, or they're not getting film, or they're not getting tick, they'll want to go back to JUCO. So I think it'll make guys want to come back so they can build themselves up because they already know what the NIL potential would be for them. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be more of a thing like that because guys are just going to understand that they have time. They have so much time. They can take that redshirt year, come back JUCO, play 2 years. Oh, I still have 4 years left.
I never thought of that.
Make more money and understand how the process really works. Because then they'll probably learn. He'll probably get that experience to learn about financial literacy, even how to take care of the taxes and all that stuff with the NIL money. Because of that, a lot of that stuff people don't realize it's all tax too.
Yeah.
So I think guys are just going to be more strategic because it's such a business now. Guys can be making more than the league minimum in the NFL. As a Division I athlete, depending on what school you go to and what your social media is like, and how marketable you are as a athlete and whatnot. So I think guys are going to be more intimidated out of high school to go to JUCO, honestly. But I just think that it's going to be kind of similar. So, guys are just going to try and get it out the mud. And, if they don't have any options, they're going to go that route. But I think junior college is going to get filled more with D1 athletes, more bounce backs and stuff like that who are high-level guys. So it's going to be more competitive in that sense.
I never thought of that. So just imagine, like, I know right now there's, like, some quarterbacks that are contemplating going to the draft or contemplating staying in college football. What if you get guys that are, they're 3 years in, 3 years at the D1, and they're looking at the draft profile and like, I need one more year. But instead of just playing one more year and having to go all in on that year, I'll just go play at a JUCO, then come back here for one more year and then make more money. I didn't think about, players mix and matching their years. I was just thinking about, coming out of high school and then you have to do it in order. But because, the guys who are at Division I's and, go to a junior college, we look at them, or even a D2, you look at them as like a bounce back. All right, he's a bounce back.
Right.
But usually something happened, and that's why they came back. Maybe they got kicked out of the school, something like that. I never thought, you just see these guys that might just come back to JUCO world just to get better and then go back to the D1. And that's a crazy scenario. I guess
I think it would be one of those things where it'd be that first year. It wouldn't be like, oh, they're already 3 years in. It would be like, oh, things aren't working on my first year, or maybe second year at that.
Yeah.
I don't think a guy his junior year will go back to JUCO and then, try and, get the remainder of his eligibility out the way. Because, a lot of times injuries happen and, guys got to rebuild themselves because, it takes a while sometimes. And then even just to build that confidence back up for a lot of these athletes, that's the biggest thing. Because once you're at that level and you're not able to, you feel like you can't compete against guys and mentally you're just kind of shot. You need to go back and, get to your roots, and figure out what you do best, and whether that's a position change or just being in an environment where, you're looked at as a leader. All that stuff plays a role into mentally how you're going to feel yourself while you're playing your best possible football. So
yeah, and then one of the right before we go to break, we're going to come back with Evander, of course, and we're going to talk about some transfer portal stuff. But I was going to say, I also feel like, you're going to have guys, what if they're 2-3 years in and they just haven't been playing? Like, they've just been there at D1 for 3 years. They haven't played. I'm like, I just want to play. Like, I just want to play football. I know I'm not going to the league. I just want to play football. And you just go back to a junior college, go back to, one of those schools just to play, just to see what it's like to play again. I guess that's also a possibility. So it's not all bad. It's not all cheat, I guess. But, I feel like there's somebody's going to be slippery and they're going to figure out the shystiest way to go about this and the sneakiest way to go about this. And people are going to start playing this like a fiddle. I don't know for sure. I don't have to put the effort into figuring it out because I'm not in that situation. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to play out because I don't think there's any decision nowadays that if you switch something up, there's no like cons. Like, it seems like there's pros and cons to everything. So I'm waiting to see what the true cons of this is after it plays out. So
I think a lot of that might be just overpopulation. It's going to be so many guys, and you know how it was for us our freshman year at DuPage. It just seems like there's so many dudes from all over. You can't dress all those guys, so I think a lot of freshmen coming in are just going to have to get redshirted because there's going to be so many more experienced guys coming back to these junior college levels. So
yeah, I tell you what though, if I'm a junior college coach, I'm ecstatic about this. I'm so happy.
Absolutely.
Like in like junior colleges, period. They're going to start making more money. They're going to start getting better players. The competition is going to get stiffer. JUCO football is going to get better. So like that's why the other side of me, as being someone who benefited from a JUCO, and you as well who benefited, it's hard to just hate on the rule because I feel like one thing about JUCO players is that they always you always remember and you wear that in your sleeve that you were a JUCO guy and like you're repping the JUCO world. And like you want the best for JUCOs, so that's a thing as well. I just also think about the disadvantages that it can cause to some of the players. But as far as the schools and the junior college, like the quality of football, it already there's a lot of studs in junior college. But now that it's like more attracting to be in junior college and it's not going to count, I mean, the level of competition in junior college is about to skyrocket.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when we get back after the break, we're going to talk a little transfer portal and we're going to see what Evander feels and what he thinks about the transfer portal, all these people that can just hop in at any time. And I want to get into who takes the pressure for this, who is responsible for making sure that teams can still be competitive, you can still have a culture, and that you guys can still be equivalent to what you were the previous year, even with a new slate of players on your roster. So we're going to get into that coming up after the break. You were listening to The Opening Drive, 95.9 FM and AM 610. I'm Zay Johnson. We got Evander Kraft on the line, Bob Walpole producing, and Adrian back at the studio producing this for the TV channel 26. Phone lines are open, 505-246-0610. Stay right here.
This message is brought to you by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Controlling the TV side of things on Channel 26. You can tune in and watch there as well. We got Evander Kraft on the line with us. And we're just talking some college. You know, just everything's changing right now. Everything's changing in college sports. But, you know, I've also got my list of Christmas Day activities real quick before we hop back into that, because, you know, we got to get in and out real quick, get another break, pay the bills. On Christmas 2004, Shaq versus Kobe. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal faced off for the first time since Shaq's trade to the Heat. The matchup lived up to the hype as the Heat extended their winning streak to 11 games with a 104-102 overtime victory against the Lakers. Miami overcame Bryant's 42-point performance behind double-doubles from O'Neal, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and Dwayne Wade, 29 points and 10 assists. You know, back then, Dwayne Wade was pretty much, he wasn't equivalent to Kobe, but they were pretty close. I know, Evander, weren't you a Heat fan? You're a Bucks fan, huh?
No, I was a Dwayne Wade fan because he went to Marquette, which was in Milwaukee. Then with the Heat, you know, that was my guy. So he wore number 3. That's why I wore number 3. So
Wow.
that was my guy. That was my guy.
The more you know. Yeah, no, it's real quick, just before we do hop into the transfer portal talk. So you work security down there in downtown Milwaukee, and you see these teams a couple of times, these NBA players, huh?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I do a lot of bodyguard work for a lot of these NBA teams when they come in town, when they stay in the hotels, et cetera. So I'm with these players all the time.
Yeah, that's super cool. I haven't gotten to meet. I got to meet Kenny Thomas. I know he played in the NBA and he played for the Lobos as well. And he comes into the studio a lot. But that's one thing about security is you get to just see some people sometimes that you never thought you'd see. Also, make sure whoever's listening, if you care, if you're a social media guy, follow Evander on social media. His name's Evander Kraft. Don't get upset at me if it says followed by your lady. That's not my fault. I have nothing to do with that. Do not get mad at me, but do find Evander on social media. He's a great guy. He's a motivational guy. He's in the gym a lot. And, you know, nowadays it's important just to have those reminders. You don't want to get on and feel like you're less than anybody, but it's important to see examples of other people, you know, working hard, doing the right things on their body. And in Evander's case, you going to the gym yesterday, you posted a gym picture yesterday. That actually got me to get up and go to the gym. I went to the gym last night and I was like, I got to get in there. I got to go. Like, I got to pull this off.
I had a guy this morning. He posted a video of him doing 3 reps for 7, 315 at like 6 a.m. That got me motivated, bro. So you got to keep people in your circle that just kind of push you to keep being the best version of yourself, man.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Nothing better than that. I mean, especially like when other people, you're competitive. And one thing I noticed, even just when I got into the gym, I go to Defined Fitness on Juan Tabo, and even just being in the gym, you know, as soon as you walk in and you just see other guys trying and giving it their all, it's just like I don't know if it's a masculinity thing, if it's a testosterone thing, but it gets your blood flowing a little bit. And however hard it was to get there, as soon as you get in, it goes away. It's all of a sudden it's easy to be in there. So, yeah, that's a big thing for me, especially just like leaning on guys in the gym as motivation and things like that. But we got to take a quick break. And we come back, we're going to talk some transfer portal with Evander and see his takes and how he feels about the portal and if he thinks it's a good or bad idea. Right here on the Sports Animal, 95.9 FM and AM 610. I'm Zay Johnson, Bob Walpole producing. Don't go anywhere.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque.
Days from 4 till 7 on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Welcome back to the opening drive, wrapping up the 8 o'clock hour. Got about an hour left. It's been a good show. I think, I like to get better every day. I like to think that this one, much better than yesterday's. Thursday, we much better than today's. But I got Evander Kraft with me here on the line. And we're talking some transfer portal. And I think it's a real interesting, you have to adjust, right? So my question, Evander, is who do you think, well, number one, do you think there should be any type of restriction on players just being able to leave after one season? Do you think they should have to stay 2 years? Do you think they should be able to leave after one season? How do you feel about just that initially?
Just from my experience, I don't think there should be any rule in that sense, because I wish I would have utilized the transfer portal earlier rather than later in my career. I wish I transferred my first year when I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see, instead of just waiting and just that pride in myself thinking, oh, things are going to change because I know the kind of player I am. You just got to kind of put yourself in the best possible situation, whether or not you believe in the system or not. You just have to believe in who you think you are. So taking that chance on yourself and just putting yourself in the best position possible, because sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. So, but yeah, I don't think there should be any restrictions. Guys should be able to leave and come and go as they want, as they wish, because it's a business. These coaches are giving these players money now. So they're getting guys from Alabama to replace you with, guys from Clemson to replace you with, guys from even highly recruited, Division II, Division III athletes coming up to these Division I schools. So I don't think there should be restrictions, because these coaches are actively recruiting. It's such a business nowadays, back then and even now. But now it's just the players have more of an option now, and I think that should just, stick. Yeah, and great answer. I think one thing I realized yesterday, CJ brought this up, and I thought it was just hit it right on the nail, hit the nail right on the top of the head. I think it's you have to think about the coaches, and I don't want to say lie, but even me coming to Highlands, the whole time I was telling them, I don't want to play offensive line. I'm coming to play defense. I'm coming there to play defense. And I get to the airport, and the offensive line coach is the guy that picks me up. So right away, I'm panicking a little bit. And I'm like, maybe he was the only one available. And then we're in the car going back to Vegas from Albuquerque, and he's like, yeah, you're going to fit in real well with the rest of the O-line. I got this guy. I like him. I like this guy. I'm thinking, why are you talking to me about the offensive line? I told you guys before I got on this plane to come here, I wanted to play defense. And I had to fight with them for about 2 weeks and threaten to leave the school for them to give me the defensive end position. And I'm 240 pounds. Why is this a thing? Why? Right. And I'm thinking, why does every coach I come across seem to completely lose logic and not understand that at 6'4", 245 pounds, I'm not an offensive lineman.
So you got coaches that will trick guys, and now you have to be transparent, because if you lie to somebody, they're gonna leave.
Right.
And I know in your position, like you said, Toledo, that's probably why you feel like you should have left the first year, because they were, he's like, hey, what do you guys got going on? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, I was getting, playing time, but it wasn't like I wasn't getting first quarter playing time. I was getting playing time, third quarter, special teams kind of thing. And my whole thing was, when I hit the transfer portal, even the communication with a lot of these coaches, it's just kind of back and forth. Really don't know what they're going to do, because they're also waiting on someone else.
Yeah.
So you also don't even know if you're going to be that first option for these schools. They're just waiting for you unless someone else backs out, or waiting for someone else unless you back out. So you don't know if you're a priority until you see the way these coaches are talking to you, the way they're recruiting you, how active they are in the whole process. So you just kind of have to understand where you're at, you know, and I guess in these coaches' eyes, just based on how you feel and just off of instincts. And, because I was just getting I wouldn't say they were, messing with my head in the transfer portal, but you could just tell that they were just actively shopping.
Yeah. Well,
so,
thank you.
And it was during COVID, so it was just like an awkward situation.
Yeah. All right, Evander, thank you. We got to take a break. Thank you for joining me on the show today, brother. You great insight.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to The Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots. Got shots. Got shots.
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service.
Best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Welcome back to the opening drive right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. Just got done wrapping it up with Evander Kraft, good buddy of mine. We met each other in 2016. We were just 18 years old, fresh out of high school. And it's crazy to, it's awesome to see that even now, some years later, 2024, we're still connected and I can still reach out to guys like him to get help for things like this. We got Fred on the line. He wants to talk some Lobo football. Thanks for calling in, Fred. How you feeling today?
Enjoying your perspective on different things, talking to college players and stuff. But did you say you're from California? I can't remember where you said you were from.
So I'm actually from Illinois. I'm from Bloomington Normal, Illinois. It's a couple hours south of Chicago.
Oh, okay. The only reason I was mentioning is that, I heard the little thing you did on, I guess there's 15 recruits coming into town this weekend. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, Coach Eck said he's got 15 recruits coming in. He says they're going to be difference makers. So, sounds great, right?
The only reason I said that is because we have a recruit that's already committed. He had committed to Idaho, and it's not in the paper yet. I'm surprised it's not in the paper yet. It'll probably be in tomorrow.
Got his inside scoop here.
Pardon me?
You got some inside scoop here.
Well, it's his name is, and I'm going to have to. It's Teo Fave. It's TOA and then FAAVAE, and I saw some highlights of him, and oh my gosh, this guy's about. He's bigger than Dampier, but he's as fast as Dampier, or faster maybe, because he ran a 10.58 in high school, and he's a left-hand quarterback, 6'1", 200 pounds, and he's from De La Salle. And if I'm not mistaken, that's just that really great school. That's why I was asking about California. I think that's that school that always does so well out in California, and he was actually the quarterback for 3 state championship teams out there in California. I don't know how we got him. I really don't know. But but anyway, it's TOA and then FAAVAE. And he went to De La Salle, and he was, like I said, he was going to Idaho, and thank goodness that we got Coach X, and he wants to come here. And another thing I wanted to say, though, is, Guy, was so important, I thought, is that he was able to bring his offensive and defensive coordinators both with him. I thought that was real important for our team and stuff. So, but anyway, I just want to say you did a good job, and I just want to pass out that the news, because I know we're all so upset about Dampier. He's the greatest quarterback that's ever played here, except for maybe Stoney Case was maybe his equal or pretty good, and that's way, way back 15, 20 years ago. So anyway, enjoying listening to you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Fred. I really appreciate that. Have a great one, and Merry Christmas to you. That's an awesome call and some inside scoop. That actually got me excited. So we've got a new quarterback, allegedly, that was committed to Idaho, that is going to be a Lobo, 6'1", a 10.58 is fast. That's fast. I know Dampierre is fast. I don't know how fast, but 10.58, that's fast. And just for him to even know that he runs a 10.58 means he runs track, and have a quarterback that's a track runner is 100% a plus. And it's going to be easy on the eyes of Lobo fan to see, you know, another quarterback come in that can use his feet. And TOA, I think that's Toa. So I would assume his name's Toa. No, that's awesome news. That's exciting news. And that's one of the biggest things you hoped that Coach Eck was able to do, right? You know, you want to get new recruits to come to the Lobos, and you want to find them, especially if you can find them in state. That's also a great look. But, you know, you wondered if he could get his recruits that he was planning on bringing to his last school and get them to come here. So I don't know if Toa was one of the 15 players that Coach Eck referred to that he's having come in, visit campus. And, you know, that video was posted, I think it was earlier this week, maybe late last week. So it's not like guys are out here traveling on Christmas Day or anything. I'm sure, you know, either today or by now they're back home with the families discussing things, whether they committed or not. Fred did say that this wasn't on the line. I mean, it wasn't online. So, you know, there's no story that has came out yet. But, you know, 3 state championships. Look, number one, Cali football, very competitive. Okay. Yes, NCAA is different than college, but for a quarterback that has won 3 state championships, skill set aside, you know, ability to throw the football aside, mentally, he not only is accustomed to winning, but he knows what it's like to win. You know, we were talking about the Broncos earlier and that sometimes they ruin things in the end. And I can't say anything about Denver because my Cowboys are great at doing so. But, you know, a lot of times when you wonder, how come they didn't just do this? Why didn't they just stick to what they were doing? You know, sometimes people don't know how to win. It feels weird when you're starting to win. You get nervous and you don't know how to handle it. So therefore, you start telling yourself, let me try this, let me try that. Even on a video game, you could be on a video game and you can know you've got the game in the bag. And you're like, well, this has been too easy. Let me make this a little harder than it should be and see if I can pull that off. You know, it's also kind of a human natural instinct. That's why evolution's a thing. You know, I was getting into that yesterday about Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry. Like, yes, those guys are more skilled than before, but they're more skilled than before because they have used their creativity to expand on what the players before them have laid out. And, you know, that's just, again, it's exciting to have a quarterback that knows how to win, because that means if something's working, he's not going to want to fix it. You don't have to fix anything that's not broken. So, you know, it looks like things are falling in place for the Lobos. It looks like, you know, we're getting the right atmosphere going. And I spoke earlier about culture and, you know, how much a coach needs to have the ability to, you know, put a culture in place. And one of the best ways to do that is having your coaches from your previous school follow you over. Because when your coaches are on the same page as you, you don't have to put so much effort yourself into establishing a culture, establishing the things that you want, because they already know what Coach Eck wants. So when you have your, I don't want to say disciples, but when you have your team, when you have your team that can also put on the same discipline and establish the same rules that you have, it allows the head coach to focus on other things and perfect other things with the football team. And I am very confident that whatever culture was at Idaho is going to transfer here to the Lobos. And I know we got some callers blowing up the line. We love that. And we've got Gary, and he's on line 1, wants to join the show. What's going on, Gary? How are you feeling?
Oh, hi, Isaiah. This is Terry.
Terry.
Bob was kind of off a little bit, but that's no problem. Merry Christmas to you and to Bob back when he did it a long time ago. I was calling and get on. Are you doing all week?
Yes, so we're off tomorrow, but Thursday and Friday I'm back.
Okay, I'll spread out my takes then. So you were picking on my buddy JoJo. Joel Embiid went to school with my daughter, and they were buddies because he would hang out with the soccer team at KU.
Really?
Yeah, now I think Victor's flop is the thing that should have been ejected. That second one, I mean, that was an all-time soccer just flyby. And you know, for me, mentally, if I'm a ref, male, female, whatever, I'm kind of upset because when I go review it and say he made me look like a fool, I would have been holding it against Victor the rest of the game where it just seemed like no. And it was pretty hilarious to see Drummond come back out of the tunnel, putting his jersey back on.
It was like Paul
no,
Pierce.
You're out. No, you're back. You know, I don't know how that goes in a box score, how you do that, but that was crazy. But I do agree that he went too far because, unfortunately, there'll be some high school kid that will imitate JoJo and go get in somebody's ref's face, and that's uncalled for, you know, at any level. And that part I'm going, dude, no, you should have just gone. So I don't know what was triggering him because he's a pretty nice guy from what my daughter said. He was having to learn English back there at KU, and he would hang out with the soccer team and do that. Now, tied to basketball, last night, I don't know if you saw any of it with the Hawaiian, Diamond Head, whatever. And this is what kind of ties into what I think the three-point has messed with the game.
Mm-hmm.
High score, Oakland, the guy comes up the court and launches a 30-footer with like 6 seconds on the clock. you know, just like I'm trying to make, you know, the ESPN top 10.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And the coach just looked at him when he came off, you know, went to overtime and they lost. But the coach just looked at him like, "What are you doing?" I'm just thinking, do some kid players thinking, oh, well, you know, one that looked like he's trying to be a highlight, but you know, you got that time, any score, two scores, you win. You know, if you go in and drive and get fouled, or you drive and kick out, then. But just to come down and launch something like that, I just thought, I'm going to be Steph Curry. I'm going to launch one up here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everybody is Steph Curry and has his talents and all that. So I don't know, from your side, I just I think that has affected the game. It's just everybody looks to shoot a three, even on a fast break. Let's shoot a three, and I think it takes its toll because it used to be you would have cuts, picks. Now everything's pick and roll.
Exactly.
Or, you know, launch a three, and I think that can take effect both college and the NBA. So, you know, I don't know. Where do you come from on that?
No, I completely agree. And on top of that, you eat college, NBA, and then where the real issue is like Little League, you know. And for Steph, it's not like we can't blame him as if it's a bad thing because he does it at an efficient rate. Like him and Dame Lillard, they do it at an efficient rate. If you're going to pull up and shoot those deep balls, be able to hit it. Don't just make it a big YMCA pickup game where there's rebound after rebound after rebound after rebound. If it's something that you're able to do, then do it. And if the coach gives you the green light, then do it. But any situation where, like you said, you come down and just jack a three up and the coach is looking at you crazy, that's where things can go wrong. But you asked where I'm coming from on it. And I actually have this link that was ready. And Adam Silver says that, like, look, okay, I can't say that we have not had any discussion about they're calling it the 3-point boom. So, like, yes, we recognize that it can be an issue. So Adam Silver has now acknowledged that there is potential issues with the amount of 3-pointers being shot. I know on the texter yesterday, people were giving me a hard time. Like, to say that too much shooting is a bad thing is crazy. It is. I mean, the official GM of the NBA has come out and said it is. So here's some of the things he mentioned that could be, you know, something to make 3-pointers less, you know, attempted. What if he makes dunks worth 3 points?
No, well,
that would be crazy.
Well, you brought up running backs. I think post players have, you know, been kind of the NBA's version of running backs, where they become what was 20 years ago was important and get it inside. I don't know if they can even move the 3-point line back or if they're still going to jack it up. But, yeah, you have something to have to look at to say, hey, you know, the inside game is important. I'm surprised Victor gets so many blocks because it's like, well, with everybody shooting 40 shots from
it makes it
three
way more impressive.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going. You have a wonderful Christmas. I have a couple more topics. I'll hit you on Thursday and Friday to keep things going. You're doing a wonderful job. Bob, you hang in there. I know it's on a mission. You know, it's old school. A year and a half ago, he hung down the fort for a few months. But Isaiah, you're doing a wonderful job. Merry Christmas. You guys take care.
And I'll
Bye-bye.
get your name right next time.
Okay.
Thanks, Terry. Terry hit all the right points right there. But we got to take a break, okay? We're going to stay on this topic. Terry gave me a great transition into NBA because that's exactly where we're going with this. So stay right here. You're listening to The Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. I see the phone lines are still lighting up. Thank you for that. 505-246-0610. Stay right here after the break.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney.
For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep.
And talking some NBA / Lobos / whatever you want to talk about. And before I bring Frank on, I do have some listener questions I wanted to throw out in the last hour. So if you're just listening and you're not the biggest sports guy or sports gal, and you just want to get involved, here's some questions I can ask. They are still some sports-centered sports show. Which NBA team, if they had all-time players, would be the best? So take any NBA team and take any point from today to the start of the NBA, and you put together a roster of the best players that played for that team. Which NBA team would be the best? For me, it's easily the Lakers. You got Jerry West, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, Magic. Who could beat those guys? If you think you have a team, an NBA team, well, they're starting 5 and maybe some bench players could beat the all-time Lakers, you call in and let me know. If you think it's the Lakers, let me know why you think it's the Lakers. Same for NFL. Which NFL team, if you could have all the Hall of Famers, all the best players in their prime, play together on the same team, which NFL team would be the best? You can also tell me what your favorite Christmas plans are or what your favorite Christmas story is. You can call in. What's your favorite Christmas gift you've ever gotten? Anything like that. You call in 505-246-0610 and let me know what you think. We got Frank on the line. How are you feeling, Frank? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Merry Christmas to everybody in the whole city of Albuquerque. Hey, I just want to talk about the Cardinals. You know what I mean? The Arizona Cardinals. If we're there, we're not. Do you think the Tyler Murray era is over? Because it ain't working, and I think he holds the most batted passes record. I don't know if they keep that record. And then he's running around the field, all this energy, just to score 2 yards. And then the transport portal, you know how they announce the players? Are they going to announce all 4 colleges they went to? You know what I mean? I went to Vermont. I went to New Hampshire. You know, are they just going to say one school? You know what I mean?
That's a funny question. I think you mean it, though. I think you're genuinely asking that question. No, I think they might just say the last school. Or maybe they can just choose one.
Right. But what do you think about the Tyler Murray? It's not working. I've been I was a Cardinal fan since they were in St. Louis, and I made the move to Arizona. And I don't know. I want your opinion. Do you think Tyler Murray is the right? Because, they're there, and here we go again.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to give up on him yet. I don't think it's time to give up on Kyler. Now, I know the batted passes, yes, that sucks, and his height makes that very, very difficult. But I think it's on the offensive coordinator to maybe put together some sort of offensive plan where he's not in position. Now, I know it's hard for a quarterback, if you're as short as Kyler is, to just not have your passes batted down. But you maybe roll him out, get him in space more, and just do a better job at programming him to have the right instincts. Now, for the Cardinals, I know at the beginning of the year, Harrison Jr. started out strong. I think you guys are in the right direction with that. Like you got him a receiver. Now I think all you need to do is, as a Cardinals fan, do you think you need another receiver? Do you think you need a better running back? Connor had 117 yards the last game. He had a good game. Kyler did have one pick, but I'm looking at the receivers here, and Harrison Jr., he's a rookie, so he's going to get better every year, of course. But James Conner was your leading receiver. So do you think that if you give Kyler another option, do you think that could help him out, or are you just ready to give up on him?
I think it's been, like 5 years? He's had a couple of injuries, and I don't know if the contract's what's going on there, but I think we need like a 6'2" quarterback, man.
6'2" wouldn't hurt. And let me
Thank
look
you.
Yeah, I'll go play quarterback for the Cardinals for the money Kyler's getting. Yes, sir. Thank you, Frank. Awesome call. I think get Frank down there. Gonna help out Bob backstage. And that's the best part about being a producer, is that you know what producers are going through. And that's why I like doing BV today over in KKOB, because BV he understands the world I'm going through. BV also was he was over here on the Sports Animal for a long time before I was. For the Cardinals, I was going to say maybe you could go for like a Dylan Gabriel, but he's 5'11". So, but 5'11" for Gabriel. How tall is Kyler? He might be like 5'8". Kyler Murray might be 5'8" or something like that. He's 5'10". So Dylan Gabriel's not much taller. Well, Bryce Young's 5'10", and Bryce Young is who Kyler was going against, and Bryce Young got a victory. So I don't know. Kyler Murray, he's one of those guys where he's won his whole life. Before the NFL, Kyler was one of those guys where, this guy hasn't lost a game his whole entire life. Kind of like Trevor Lawrence. Like the first regular season game he ever lost was for the Jaguars, like dating back to Little League. So Kyler, he's had some injury issues, but I feel like if he's starting and he's in the lineup and you get him some help, like I was saying earlier about the new alleged Lobo quarterback, who I believe our caller Fred, he sounded very confident. I believe he knows what he's talking about. We got a new quarterback coming in for the Lobos, 6'1" guy, runs a 10.58 100-yard dash, and he's won 3 state championships. Kyler Murray has also won 4 state championships, and he's a winner. Kyler's a winner, and without a doubt, I believe that if he has help around him, he can figure some things out. We got to take a break. Bob's screaming at me in there. No, he's not screaming. But we do have to take a break to make sure we can get the bills paid and stay on time. We do have a caller on the line. Excited about that. 505-246-0610. Call in. Another question you can think about calling about. What is the biggest mistake a team's front office has ever made? I'm talking Jerry Jones firing Jimmy Johnson type mistake. What's one mistake that you think is going to forever haunt a franchise? And which team just needs one thing to get them over the hump in the NFL? Which team, they're just one player away from getting over the hump, and it can't be the Chiefs because they're already over the hump. It can't be the Bills. They're over the hump already. Give me a team that is on the cusp but needs just one more player, and they might be able to get him in free agency, trade, or the draft that could switch everything for that team. Think about that. Call in at 505-246-0610 with your answers. You're listening to The Opening Drive. I'm Zay Johnson. Bob Walpo is producing right here on The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
Filling in for Jeff and JJ as they enjoy their Christmas Eves right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal phone lines are open, 505-246-0610. And we got Sam Sr. on the line. How is it going, Mr. Garcia?
Doing well.
Thank you.
Got a question, a football New Mexico Highlands question for you.
Okay.
The all-time greatest tailgater in New Mexico Highlands football history. I want you to tell me who that is.
It's Sam Sr. It's no other than Sam Sr. You are the greatest tailgater in New Mexico Highlands football history, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those chicharrones were on the grill at 9 in the morning and a Bud Light in the other hand.
You know, you were a true, the way these, the listeners are, these people that are listening now, the way they love the Lobos, you loved Highlands football, and you were there, and you would go all out, and you know it was honestly awesome because you guys were right next to the locker room. So you come out the locker room, you know, little doors before we make that right to walk on the field, and we could see you guys over there with the truck and the grill, and it made us feel, you know, it's all about experience, and it definitely, you guys added on an experience to the Highlands football players. It was an awesome time.
Yes. Hey, what's the future of Highlands? What do you think 25 and 26 are going to bring us with our new coach?
So I've actually talked with Keone Benali. He's an offensive lineman, and he was a freshman my last year there. And I was walking through the gym, and he followed me on Instagram, and he says, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing great." And he said, "How's football there?" And he said, it's a lot. It's been really good. It's a lot better now. And he says that things are moving in the right direction. I know the coach they have, he's won championships at Nittany. And, even just the past 2 segments on the show, we've talked about, how the Lobos apparently, they've got a quarterback coming in. He knows how to win. He's won 3 state championships. And we talked about Kyler Murray and how he should be able to figure out how to win because he's won state championships. And this coach just won, a national championship for Nittany. And I think
I'm thinking 25. I'm thinking in 25, we're making noise in the RMAC. I'm thinking in 26, we're there with Mines and Pueblo competing for the title.
I love it, and I'm all on board for it because their coach knows how to win, and he built a great program over there at Nittany. And also Highland, it's big about culture, and he definitely seems like he likes being where he is. He doesn't feel like he's somebody else from a different state, and he's only here because he's getting paid. Like, he was already in New Mexico, and I think he's invested. I think the players believe in him, and they had some good wins last year. They fought and they competed in all their games. So,
and that was with no recruiting season.
Exactly. That was
he joined the team like a month or 2 months before the season.
Mm-hmm. So now he's had a little bit of an offseason to recruit and, getting the ears of some of these guys to get him to come on the Highlands.
Yes, sir. Okay, Isaiah. Well, I appreciate you. You have a Merry Christmas, and I better go into the gym now.
Nice. We love to hear it. All right, Sam Senior, you have a great day, and Merry Christmas to you as well. And I'm going to get a hold of you guys today. Awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. Fun fact about Sam Senior. Sam Jr., I never call him. I call him Sam, is another one of my roommates. He lived when Evander, who was on the show earlier, when he came to Highlands, me, Evander, and Sam all lived in the same house. So there's a brotherhood that's been built there. And Sam actually, he worked at the Defined Fitness on Juan Tabo. He's the one who told me to come to that gym, and it was a great decision. And Sam Senior, he's just always been there for me. He's always been there for me. He's always told me anything I need. He's got me. Last year, I had my foot reconstructed, and my foot had needed reconstructing my whole entire life, and I didn't know it. And then I went to a foot doctor as I knew my football days were over. And he's like, they looked at x-rays of my feet, and he's like, I'm going to get a specialist to come in and take a look at this as well. And the specialist comes in and he looks at me and he's like, are you the guy or do you have the feet from this x-ray? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, no way. I thought that was the x-ray of a 60-year-old man. I'm like, no, that was me. And he's like, you've got arthritis in your heels, your ankles. I don't know how you played football this long. I'm like, ibuprofen.
Yeah. And when the first doctor said, I'm going to call in a specialist, your heart drops.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No,
I knew things could have been better than what they were, but I'm like, all right. And he brings the second opinion, and that guy's like, yeah, man, your feet look awful. Like, I have no idea how you played this long. I'm like, yeah, I've been taking a lot of ibuprofen. It got to an unhealthy point. I mean, I'd wake up and I had my 800 milligrams. My mom went to Mexico, and she got a hold of some 800s for me. She's like, "You want these?" I'm like, "Yeah, please, please get those for me."
Okay.
And I'd get up out of bed and I'd walk out my door and I would take those like it was a vitamin in the morning. Like I would on my way to practice. All right, boom, ibuprofens. Let's do this thing. And about 30 minutes later, I'm like, all right, I can get through practice. And that's when I knew, I'm like, this is my last year. Yeah. And I knew this is 100% my last season because I need ibuprofen to even get in a stance. And I'm like, my days are over. My days are over. But I got my foot reconstructed, 8 screws put in it.
Ouch.
Yeah. And I was living in Vegas still. So I had to do isotope games. I still had some things to do here. And this was my job. I knew where I wanted to go with my career. So you remember when I was on the crutches and I had the boot on.
And you'd be in here with your foot elevated. In fact, we still have the cushion under the desk.
The cushion is still over there. It reminds me. Yeah. I like it being right there because it reminds me. Like I used to, it was hard a year ago. And I'm driving with my left foot.
Oh,
it was my right foot that had screws in it. And I was driving with my left foot from Vegas, New Mexico to Albuquerque to produce the Isotope games for 4.5 hours because I knew this is going to pay off.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
Yeah.
Here I am hosting the opening drive. So that's awesome.
Do you use the cruise control a lot on the highway?
You know what's upsetting?
It didn't work.
No, it works. It worked. And I just learned it worked when I drove to Illinois a couple months ago to go surprise my family. And I'm like, oh, wow. The cruise control. Like this would have been nice.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm driving with my left hip's on fire because I'm crossing my left foot all the way across to reach the gas pedal. And I'm just trying to find a way to sit it there. So yeah, that was an interesting time. But
dedication.
Yes, it was definitely dedication. But enough of that about me. Coming up after the break, we're gonna deep dive back into this NBA issue. And there's an NBA Hall of Famer that has now voiced his opinion on what the issue is with the NBA today and how it can be fixed to improve viewership. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the opening drive right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Warriors, the Celtics might be, they'd be tough. But Bob Cousy, you'd have Larry Bird out there, Robert Parrish. Then you got to start going more recent players. I don't know which one of those teams could take on the all-time Lakers. But if you ask me, it's an easy sweep. The Bulls, yeah, you have Michael Jordan, but with Michael Jordan, Derrick Rose, Pippen, I don't think they'd have enough talent in that squad to beat the Lakers. I think the Lakers would sweep any team all time, 100%. But speaking of the Lakers, Magic Johnson has spoken on the state of the NBA today. And he says, back then, the rivalry was real, and fans loved seeing that intensity on TV. Nowadays, it feels like it's all rumors about what players say to each other, but nothing meaningful happens. He criticized the current approach to the All-Star game, highlighting a lack of competitive spirit among players. He says, that's what's happening now. They don't go hard against each other. We hated the East. We'd say, I'm coming to bust you. You can't have one over me. I'm coming to get that. Now it's like, hi, you can score. It has to come from the top, Magic says. LeBron, Durant, Steph, they need to rally the other players. I knew Larry Bird was coming for me, even if we lined up right now, Johnson said. If he was wearing green and I was wearing purple, he'd do whatever it took to beat me. That's what we need to get back to. The viewership numbers are dropping, and these guys better wake up and say, hey, man, we've got to change this. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. You can disagree all you want, but the proof's in the pudding. And I like that he used the All-Star game as an example, because what has now happened, it's not even the East versus the West anymore. If you want to tell me these players are not friendly and it's not too friendly, then why is it not even the East versus the West anymore? It's a big player pool. It's literally pickup. The All-Star game right now is literally a pickup game. Two captains pick their players. I don't want to use the words pathetic, but remember what it was like when you actually felt like you were seeing the best players in the league compete against each other. That was a sweet feeling, and it wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago. You know, I remember, I think back, and especially as a Kobe fan, there was no All-Star game better than, I believe it was 2013. And I had 2000, could be 2012. But there was an All-Star game, and this was around the time when LeBron had kind of started to force Kobe to pass the torch. And like in the regular season, LeBron was consistently looking like the better player. It was Miami Heat LeBron. And Kobe, when the game was on the line towards the end of the fourth quarter, he not only asked to guard LeBron, but when LeBron wasn't guarding him, he tells them, like, what are you doing? Come guard me. The fans want to see competition. They want to see the two best players. He had to tell LeBron, hey, come guard me. Let's put on a show. Kobe goes at LeBron, gets a bucket. LeBron takes a ball down the court. He passes. A timeout's called. Kobe goes up to LeBron. What are you doing? Take a shot. Come at me. Do something. They want to see a show. Imagine Kobe having to go tell LeBron, hey, we're the two best players on the court. Try to score on me. It's the All-Star game. That happened. It really happened. So then Kobe comes down. LeBron tries to get a shot off. Kobe blocks it in his face. Comes down, scores a bucket. LeBron comes down again. Kobe blocks him again. And we're talking about blocked shots in an All-Star game. One-on-one blocking shots. That was Kobe's thing. He used to be in All-Star games drawing fouls, pump faking to get to the free throw line. He wanted to win. The East versus the West needs to stay competitive, or else what is the NBA Finals? There might as well be no East and West. If we're just going to have a big player pool, the NBA Finals should just, let's do some kind of college football bracket. Let's just take the best teams from both sides and figure out who deserves to be in the NBA playoff, right? That's where it's trending. What's the point of having East versus West in the playoffs if you guys don't care about East versus West enough to at least keep the All-Star game the East versus West? You can't tell me it's not an issue, because Adam Silver has came out and said, like, yes, we have had discussions about what we need to do to fix this. How can we change things? I named off some ideas earlier that Adam Silver says. He says, what if we go and allow teams to draw their own three-point lines, which is weird. Make your own three-point line. That's weird. Shrink the lane. That might work. Allow hand checking behind the arc. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that could be unfair. I think of all these examples I see of things you could fix, the best one is to add a 4-point line. But the dangerous part about that is, guess what? Guys are going to say, beforehand, pulling up at half court with 10 seconds left on the shot clock was a bad idea, because I can get a better shot and still get 3 points. But if I can get 4 points, I have more of a reason to shoot this deep. So I think if you add a 4-point line, you're actually going to start having more unnecessary deep shots. I think the best option is you move that 3-point line back, or you cap out the number of 3-pointers that a team can shoot. You know, you may not have to put this rule in place and keep it that way, but if you can just pump the brakes on this a little bit, just pump the brakes. Yesterday, we had a Celtics fan call in and, make his argument for the Celtics. And I think the Celtics they're a weird team because they do play basketball the right way. They still shoot mid-ranges. Jason Tatum, he's like a strong hybrid of old school basketball and new school basketball. Jason Tatum will drive the lane and get physical. Jason Tatum, he will get to his post spot mid-range and shoot a turnaround fadeaway. But the Celtics also just broke record for the most attempted threes in a game, and I think they also they tied the record for the most made threes in a game, and that was the first game of the year. So the Celtics are shooting threes way off the wall. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the opening drive today on Tuesday, Christmas Eve. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas, because I will not be in studio tomorrow, but I will be on Thursday, and I want everyone to call in and tell me your Christmas experience, and I will tell you mine. Thank you for listening and tuning into the opening drive. Thank you, Bob Walpo, for producing for me. Thank you, Adrian, back at the ProView studio, working everything for the TV. And I'm Zay Johnson, clocking out on 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pro